Just last weekend was my 1 year wedding anniversary, and also Valentine's Day is coming up. So that kind of has me thinking that now might be a good time to try and build a wedding venue in The Sims. I feel like I always need more spots for my Sims to get married. I tend to just use the same few that I've already built over and over again. And I play this game a lot, so I have a lot of Sims, and I've had a lot of Sims get married over the years. So hear me out. I'm thinking this lot in Brindleton Bay, there's usually a starter home here, but I bulldozed it. And I just think it's a beautiful spot for a wedding, like with the water in the background. We could have the wedding arch like right here and some seats in front of it. And you can get screenshots of your Sims with this as the view behind them. And then we could probably have some kind of building structure with like a kitchen, a place to eat, dance floor, bar, you know, all those sort of things. And I'm sort of kind of drawing inspiration from my real life wedding venue. We got married on a lake here in Orlando. It wasn't the ocean like this, but it was kind of just like a big white fancy building, and then they had places to set up tables and stuff inside. So I guess that's kind of what I'm going for here. Fancy white building, tables, and probably some nice landscaping, you know, to fill it all in. I'm also really interested in the idea of having maybe like a balcony or some kind of nice patio space. Why this glitch with the overlays is so annoying. Where it does that thing with the lot outlines for like small businesses, but when it's not a small business or not a residential, you can't change it. But yeah, I'm thinking we have a really large patio space. I kind of want most of it to be outside. We have to be a little bit careful because it does rain a lot in Brindleton Bay, but like the whole thing is taking place outside. So if it's raining, the day's ruined already. Maybe you should cheat the weather if it starts raining. I think that would be my advice to you. Oh, we should look at some of the things from Wedding Stories. This might help us with like the scale of everything. If we put a couple things down like this, what happens if I scoot it over a little bit more? I know it's not central anymore with it, but I'm thinking if we had it central with this, because then we kind of have an aisle that's like right there. There's like a clear place for you to walk. There's gonna be a lot of trial and error happening today. I think this whole build's gonna be a lot of just experimentation, you know? I've done this before with a wedding venue setup where I tried to put like a little tent thing, and then I had the dining table in the middle of it, like one big long dining table. I do kind of like the idea of that. This is the Wedding Stories fountain. I wonder if we could try to use it. I'm kind of thinking now, like, what if the whole place was long and skinny? And what if there was like a courtyard or something out here instead of there being like just some grass? Like, what if it was something like, okay, that's maybe a bit much, but what if it was something like this? I can't decide how casual I want it to be. That I think is my big problem right now. I just don't know. I think it was maybe better before, honestly. I don't know. Scoot it back like one tile. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to make it like a little bit fancy looking on the inside, sort of like that. Maybe there could be a little bathroom thing like right there. And I think the building itself, I mean, there should just be like a small entryway space, kind of like right there, right? Okay, because then imagine if we had like the kitchen so that you can do all your cooking just in here. The tent can go further up. They can have some nice doors right there coming out of the place, plus some things outside. This becomes a little bathroom for you. And then there could be a dance floor, maybe like some kind of fancy built-in bar, a little bit more seating inside in case of emergency. I think that's fine. Okay, let us continue with the vision. I guess starting with the roof. I didn't build a second floor. Should I have built a second floor? Wait, what if there was a second floor? Oh, because if there was a second floor, you could maybe have like a little balcony out here or something. And like a getting ready suite. Oh my goodness, this could be cool. Wait a minute. Okay, I made the kitchen a little bit bigger. It probably didn't need to be, but now this is open to the upstairs. Front looks absolutely horrendous. It's very plain and like a little bit sad, but we could shrink it. Oh, what if instead, what if they had like a slightly bigger, almost something more like this with like a huge all the way across balcony? I don't know if that looks more interesting or if it's like worse or what, but oh no, it's become even smaller. I need to get a staircase in there and the fence is in the way. I think that's good though. It's much littler inside of this building now, which might not actually be good. I don't know. That's the kitchen. What if the roof looked like that? That's a lot nicer. I'm sorry. I know it's like such a journey to build stuff like this, especially because I keep changing my mind about things. What if it was like that instead? Oh no, I don't like it. Sorry. What if it was like that? I feel like it kind of has like a old courthouse energy to it. Ever so slightly, which it's obviously not a courthouse, but that energy is good. Oh, we need to curve the stairs. Oh my gosh. That's perfect. Oh, that is beautiful, stunning. I'm gonna make sure it only has the rail on the left so it's not clipping at all. Wow, I feel like this was made for this. You know what I mean? I really do not like this little bump out piece as much as I thought I was going to on the back. I feel like maybe it needs to be on the side. Like maybe this is where the door goes or something, and that's how people access the outside. I'm gonna need to build some walls in here if we're gonna have this roof look like this, because that is just horrendous. I really like how it looks from the outside, but it does not look good from the inside, so maybe not. So is this like the getting ready suite, and they have a bigger bathroom attached to it? So there could be like maybe like a room with a vanity table, and then we could do a tub and things like that in there. Could be a nice place to take photos. I mean, in real life, you probably wouldn't take photos in the bathtub in the game, just a guess. And then that's also nice because it's a second bathroom, which is probably a good thing. Okay, let's get some more columns. This one's a little bit different because the upstairs is a bit bigger. Maybe we can go back to that like little bit of masonry that I was using before and try and use it again. And we can also scoot this over again, so that's all centered still. I love the idea of like a little patio, something like this. Does this fit nicely? Doesn't. Why would it? We can keep messing with that and we'll figure it out. I don't know if I like it or not right now, but these things don't need to be solved immediately. I think I'll probably put a trim around the whole exterior, although, no, hold on. When you put it around the whole thing, it starts clipping onto the inside, which I don't want it to do. So I'm holding shift to place it on just one wall at a time, and that should make it so it doesn't go in there, which we didn't want. What do you think about these pretty arched windows? Uh-oh. Well, this is probably not going to work the way that we want it to. This is like a pretty arched door that matches perfectly, so we could do that. I kind of had this like vision of some double doors, but even if we can't do double doors, we could still have like some kind of little thing with columns. Yeah, because that would be a good location for this bathroom window. Okay, hopefully the windows in the back fit okay. We can get another door upstairs so they can have access to the patio, and we'll just put 3 of these windows in the way back. I don't know, I know it looks a little bit weird, but isn't that pretty from the inside? Let's get like a fancy flooring, like the herringbone flooring. Where did it go? I know there's a herringbone flooring in this game. There we go. Yeah, and it's like a nice light wood tone, beautiful. I think I'm gonna look into the bar part first because that's really important to me. I want like a big, very fancy bar. Oh, maybe we put the bar over here. Okay, and then we can scoot the doorway over. That's fine. I've got columns around it in the corners, which helps it look a little bit nicer. And maybe we could do like a little archway or something in there so that the employees can get back to it. It doesn't have to be this life and death bar. I kind of just put that there because it was the right size. We could do any bar. This one's Love Struck. I guess I'll probably end up using a bunch of Love Struck today, so it would make sense to have that one. I think I'm also going to use this banquet table. This is the one that came, it's unfortunately from a rewards event last year. It's like I think it was the anniversary rewards event. It must have been like this time last year because that was in February of 2025, but this is like one of those round buffet tables, but it's long and skinny instead. And I find that so useful for gameplay, so I'm gonna use it. I'm also gonna pick a pretty dance floor. I think I'll just do like this smaller one. What color do you think? That one's nice. I'm literally gonna put white everywhere, like all white chairs everywhere. I hope that doesn't seem boring. I'm kind of just coming at it from the perspective of like, well, if you're gonna host your wedding here, it might be nice to be able to customize it a little bit and like pick your wedding colors. And maybe if you're gonna wear like a blue dress, it'll match still. I'm gonna use Cozy Bistro. Cozy Bistro has like this bar back that fits pretty nicely in there. There's enough space for them to still stand. Well, I mean, if we're gonna use Cozy Bistro anyway, we might as well use the Cozy Bistro kit bar because this one is really nice. And then there's matching chairs for it too. I am really struggling right now with where to put the dance floor. I'm scared about it being too in the way. Oh, can you put this on the bar? Oh no. You can put it on the bar, I guess, technically, but it doesn't look good. Even these don't really fit on the bar. Okay, we'll have to think about that a little bit more. I would like to use this, but I'm also like so conscious of how it's so big. It looks so good though. And like if we had this little wedding sign, maybe we could do, this is the seating arrangement version, and then we can have the wedding sign outside. So this will tell you like, welcome to the wedding. And then you go in there and this tells you where your table is. I'm wondering about vintage glamour because the vintage glamour curtains, these are all white, but I feel like that fits on this window so beautifully. I haven't used these curtains in a long time. I think that looks really pretty in here. And we can put this big flower right in the middle of it. In terms of artwork, this is a base game piece of art. Maybe that's good for us to hang up. We also need a nice place for the music. Usually, I feel like you'd want to have like a DJ booth or something in here, but unfortunately, it's a little bit small for a DJ booth, I'm afraid. I do want to have maybe like a little side table. I'm thinking we get a little table right here, some flowers on top, like those, and then there's like, I forget what it's called. It's just like an open book. I like to pretend sometimes that it's a guest book when I build stuff like this. Oh, it's just called the notebook. But sometimes I'll pretend that it's a guest book and like put it by the entrance. I think that would be beautiful for your Sims to be able to sign that. And I genuinely think we shouldn't put more. I think that like if we overdo it with the furnishing, I don't want to have it be so that your Sims can't get around anymore. Oh, okay, please forgive me. This is actually Modern Luxe, this wallpaper. I'm gonna use that because it's so beautiful. I don't really want to use a million packs, but it's too late. We kind of already have. I guess I am kind of building this for myself though. Like this is for my own gameplay a little bit, so I should be allowed. This tile is from high school years. Maybe I shouldn't do that. That's just a base game tile. Let's use base game tile. Okay, so this is supposed to be the kitchen. I wanted to do this because I wanted to make sure if your Sims hired a caterer, they would be able to cook for you. I feel like that's kind of a difficulty that I have with a lot of the default wedding venues, or like the ones that I like to build in places like parks, because it's sometimes hard to fit in a full kitchen in those parks, but you really do need one. Okay, they have plenty of counter space. I don't know, is it worth giving them like a microwave? I feel like they probably wouldn't even end up using a microwave if they had one, but maybe it is worth it. Don't we have like pots and pans or like some kind of, I think I want to use the wall rack version of it. Yeah, there are some knives. We can use those too. Okay, functional kitchen. Let's put this way up high so it's like fitted into the paneling, right? It makes it make more sense. On this patio, I'm gonna try and throw together some furniture out here quickly. My dream with this is that I would love to have one big table. Instead of having everybody share tables, I really do like the idea of one big one. I actually did not do that in real life. In real life, we had a bunch of tables instead of like long rectangular ones. And now having like planned a wedding, I know a little bit more about how it works, I guess, but I just felt like for us, it made more sense to have multiple tables. But I love the look of these big long tables. It's so pretty when people do this. And I also think that this is more practical in The Sims, because in The Sims, no one really even sits at these tables. Like no one's gonna sit together and have one big meal for the most part. And there being 12 chairs there, I feel like that should be plenty of chairs for what you need with a wedding in game. Okay, please ignore how just absolutely horrendous this looks, okay? I'm trying to get one that's like directly in the middle of the two tables, but I can't actually tell if I've done it correctly. The two tables are right here, so that goes there. Okay, I wanted it to look like this because I kind of wanted to have like some centerpieces going down the table lining it. And I did lower ones because in real life, this way you could talk over them and like be able to see your family and your friends. I'm kind of feeling like I might want to get another buffet table out here just in case, because like what if you don't have the buffet table? Like what if you don't have the one from the reward event? So I'll put another one, and I'll also use this because then you can have like drinks in the fountain. And then in terms of dining tables, I might get like one more, or maybe we put like 3 of them right here. I'm thinking this way you could have your cake in the middle. We can have this for the toasts off to the side, and then like some kind of pretty bouquet. I don't know. That should be good. Plenty of space for that. And then outside, do you think that it would be okay if I put a piano or something out here in this open area? Oh, no, no, no. Hold on. I'm gonna use this. I might size it down, but we can get some pretty flowers right there. And maybe instead of a piano, what if we got like a microphone and a guitar? Because then if you did choose to hire someone to play music and be the entertainer, they can use these. But also I feel like it's kind of realistic because in real life, maybe you would have them do their speeches over here where you can't see them because they're outside of the tent. No, it doesn't make any sense. But oftentimes you do speeches when everybody sat down. So I guess it's not unrealistic to have a setup for speeches there. Let me get my lights back around these doors again before I forget too. I think this makes perfect sense. I think that's beautiful. And then we'll get some nice chairs set out in front of here. Probably should put down an aisle. Should we do an invisible one, or should I have like a flower petal lined one? Oh, it's a little big. I'm actually not really sure about that. Okay, so there's 12 dining chairs and 12 chairs set out to watch the ceremony. I think that should be fine. I mean, at my wedding, we just walked down the grass. Like, we didn't have any kind of special thing in the aisle. We didn't have flower petals or anything like that either. Let's put some of these. They can give them some flowers lining it, but like next to the seats. Is it better in the middle of the seat or up against the edge of the seat? Oh, I don't know. Why do I have to be such an overthinker? I'm so bad about the overthinking of it all. There's actually plenty of space. We probably don't even need to have the outdoor patio. Maybe it's nicer to only have the wedding set up in the grass and nothing else. I feel like it being more minimal is more functional. I'm really trying to think like what is actually going to work in game and like what are my Sims actually going to use, and I'm trying to base it off of that. And I do feel like it having a little bit less to do and less places to go. Like I could add maybe, I don't know, like an outdoor dance floor, but does adding in an outdoor dance floor then mean that my Sims are all gonna try and use both of it? Like I kind of want to prioritize everyone going here just for like ease of function. We've got all the things that they suggest that you add in, so we do have that. Maybe we should finish the bathrooms and then we can start working upstairs too on like the suite, the getting ready suite. Can it be gold? Oh, I love that light gold color. Beautiful. beautiful. I also really like this plant from Love Struck, so I might try that. And you know what there is from Love Struck too? This painting, to me, this is like one of the prettiest things in the entire game. Maybe that could go on this big wall. Whoa. Okay, let's definitely use that. Okay, in the suite, I guess I'll look through a few of the things from Modern Luxe because I'm using the wallpaper, so we might as well use this. The rug, really beautiful for this. We also have like purses and makeup, so we can set that out as if they're getting ready with that. I have this new obsession. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I have this absolute obsession with the Life and Death. Where did it go? It's the Life and Death light. If we had that in like a light gold color, maybe probably size down a little bit. There's also a businesses and hobbies one, and this one is so pretty for us to put in this entryway. Might want that in like a lighter color too. Should it be centered? I think yes, probably. Oh, this wall's not even painted. Okay, that's fixed. It's hard to do the curtains how I want them because this window is like in a really weird spot. I wonder, this is so bad, okay? But I wonder if I could put a bookshelf blocking the window. I don't know, like just so that way the windows look a little bit nicer. You probably want a big full-length mirror too. Oh, this pack business. It's really gone out the window. There's this one. This is from a kit though. It's Basement Treasures, horrifyingly. And then there's also one from Jungle Adventure that I like to use. I don't know which one's better. I think I might try this one. Oh, that does not fit very well right there. Oh, but you could totally get ready in this room. That's perfect. And then in the bathroom, I think I'm gonna give them a bathtub, basically stemming from the fact that it would be really nice to be able to bathe. And I feel like a bathtub is fancier objectively than a shower. Although a shower is a woohoo spot, and there aren't any woohoo spots in here right now. But doesn't the bathtub just look so fancy? Like, doesn't that just feel more right? I feel like it needs to be the bathtub. Okay, stunning, beautiful, perfect. I don't know what to put up here. I'm really not sure. Part of me is kind of thinking, like, and this is another pack, but if I'm gonna use this for my own gameplay, I am kind of thinking that maybe having like some of this stuff from the mosquito stuff pack, like if we set it up almost like a slight photo studio, I think that's realistic for what this place is. And then you can get your wedding portraits done up here, and like having a hint of the plants and then some of that paneling in the background, that's pretty. I think that works. I also kind of feel like in real life, they would just have you set up there for a second. They would be like, okay, now stand here. We're gonna take some photos. So it almost looks like maybe there's a wedding actively in progress and they were taking photos up here. I wish that you could like more successfully pose on the staircase and stuff in this game. Wouldn't that be so nice? You just can't really do that. But like people at real life weddings, they get such beautiful like stair poses. I would love to do that for my Sims. I think the upstairs looks perfect. We might want to add a couple things onto the balcony, but I'm gonna wait until we figured out a little bit more. And this balcony's fake. You can't even access it, but that's okay. That's okay. I put a nice roof trim on there. Maybe I'll just make the whole thing a white siding. That's pretty and it's simple and it looks nice. I'll probably use these growing together columns on all the edges because I just hate how it looks not having them. It looks so much more finished to me once it has just, did I say growing together? I meant get together. Anyway, it just looks so much more finished to me once it's got a little bit of a column on there. I don't think I like this siding. I think maybe it should be stucco, like a simpler white. Doesn't that look nicer when it's a little bit less busy? I feel like it does. Also, what about planter boxes? I feel like this might be the answer to all of our problems. Just having like a little bit more of a pretty light color floral thing. That looks beautiful from the outside. Okay. I feel good about this now. Let's try and get some more landscaping in, or I guess some landscaping at all because we don't currently have any. Like just those bushes, I think that's a good start. Cats and Dogs has a really pretty white tree. I don't know what happens like if I size it up. I don't know if that's super unrealistic and if it looks bad, but I don't know. I just feel like that's really beautiful for this lot to have this really big white tree. I just don't really know how big dogwood trees even get, so I am not much help with the realism factor of this. That is not clipping. Miraculously somehow, it's not clipping in the back. Look at the view out the windows. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't do the roof yet. Sorry. Let me do the roof texture too. I like this one with the scallop detail. Okay, well, if it were me, I would have the ceremony here in the afternoon when the lighting looks like this, and then we would start having the party and the reception in the evening as the sun is setting. I'm trying to have like a little bit of a like slight wildflower thing going on. Do you think it would be so weird if they had flowers over there underneath where they're gonna have the ceremony? I might have overdone it a little bit, but oh, isn't that just so beautiful? I think I kind of want to stick to it. I kind of want it to look like a little bit natural, but like a field of flowers, you know? Okay, I put some random little daisies around. I probably want to get like a stepping stone or something out front. I don't know. I was looking at this thing from Get Together, but I feel like that looks kind of bad. I always have a hard time with these lots where they don't touch a path or anything. Like when they're just kind of floating here, I find them really difficult to do the terrain paint of, at least for walkways, because it's so weird. It just like stops and starts. Something I thought about a lot at my wedding, which maybe not a lot is the wrong word, just something that I thought was kind of funny about my wedding is that I bought this dress, most expensive item of clothing I've ever owned, that I ever will own. You know, it's a fancy wedding dress, they're expensive. The first and only time I wore it, I took it outside and I dragged it around in the grass. I was getting like leaves stuck to the bottom of my train, but that's, you know, that's just how it goes. But it was very similar like this. Like I just walked down the grass up to the thing in the leaves. The grass was like a little bit wet too that day, which, I mean, that's normal, but you get the bottom of it dirty, don't you? I actually still haven't gotten my wedding dress. Like some people send it off to get it cleaned and then like they preserve them, and people, there's like companies that store it in a nice box or whatever. I was meaning to do that and I still haven't. And my wedding was February 8th of last year. So it's just like hanging up in my closet right now. I know that I should go and take care of that at some point soon. I have not yet gotten to it. My mom did that with her wedding dress and it was like, it stored bad and it was stained. Like we took it out to try it on because it was just kind of fun when I was planning my wedding. And it had this like horrible yellow stain down it. It must have like, something must have happened to the box, but nothing was on the outside of the box. It was only on the inside that it looked like that. But anyway, whatever. I'm just yapping at this point. I think that the build might be done. I know it's a kind of simple one. Obviously everything is very white, but I think that's like realistic for this. My thought is that then if you got married here, you could have your Sims change the flower colors and like kind of get your own spin on it with your own little color scheme by just changing a swatch. But hopefully if it's white, it'll match everything. It's kind of like a traditional bridal color. I'm gonna put it on the gallery. I think I'll say Brindleton Wedding Venue. I am really hopeful that because it's kind of small, it'll be functional and it'll be like hopefully easier for your Sims to navigate around and like not mess up or glitch. But it is The Sims 4 and it is Wedding Stories. So, you know, it seems maybe inevitable, but I think I'll use this for my next wedding in my legacy challenge or something. We can have them come get married here. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing this. It makes me feel festive. I love doing like seasonally appropriate builds. I don't know. It's why I love to build like spring things when it becomes spring and like autumn things in the fall. And for me, this is wedding season. So I'm building a wedding venue, but I will stop yapping now. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye. Something that I thought was so cute is that on our wedding anniversary, a bunch of you all said happy anniversary to me unprompted. I just thought it was like so nice that people remembered and like brought it up, because I don't know, you don't expect that from people. I mean, you just think no one's gonna care, right? But thank you, that was really, really kind of you all to say, so thank you.